This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on, you foxes!
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
We are live. Well, just about. Welcome along. It's Chris. It's Leicester Till I Die TV, and it's the Euro 2020 or 21. Yeah, I think it's still 2020, isn't it? Group review. We are getting towards the business end of the competition now. A couple of us are still in. One of us isn't. Yeah, let's not talk about that. What it is, Leicester Till I Die. You can catch us on the old YouTube there, Leicester Till I Die TV. Please give us a subscribe. And basically, as I always say, if you see a button, click that button. Makes me very, very... I like my buttons to be clicked. We're on Twitter at LeicesterTID. Give us a like and a follow. We'll follow back. And Facebook, which is that one there. Facebook, the group Leicester Till I Die TV. What's the show about tonight? We're going to be looking back at the group stages of Euro 2020.
It's the Euros 2020 with Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV.
Seems to go on forever, that one. Indeed. We've got some guests coming in. All the home nations technically are classified. We'll bring the erstwhile England fan in for today. Amudi, come in. Good evening. How are you?
Yes, Chris. How are you, man? Thanks for having me on your show.
No, thanks for having me. You sound happy. Have you been drinking?
I'm always happy. Especially when we talk football.
No, exactly. We can do it for ages, can't we? Give us a quick shout out for your channels.
So I represent the Man United agenda. That's the Man United agenda, and obviously we talk about Man United and everything involved around Manchester United. And we've got a lot going on at the moment, just like you, Chris. We're all over Twitter. We're on YouTube. You can find all our videos there, and we're all part of the FTB's football sports group. So we also have other channels like Arsenal and Liverpool and Tottenham, Paxton Road. So yeah, that's where you can find us.
You've got a fan already there. Ankit says, "Nice to see Amanda here. Wish you was a Chelsea fan though."
I live in Chelsea. I'm a Man United fan. I live in London.
Well, who knew? It's never going to happen. Hey, it gets a bit bad when, like, Chelsea, you've got to go out and try and buy fans, haven't they? You know.
Well, yeah. You do see that. You see that. That's why I respect Leicester fans like yourself, because you've been loyal from day one.
Oh, yes. Rob, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Don't I ever get a holiday? What's the holiday? You know, it's off season. We've got the Euros. Anyway, here's the happy chappy. Let's bring the Welsh third of the show in and say good evening to Mike.
It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming to Cardiff. It's coming home. Yeah. First home.
What the Welsh can sing.
we don't have Susan Boyle. We just sing whatever we want.
But no Tom Jones, are you?
No, but I'm absolutely buzzing, especially because we were the first home nation to get into the last 16. Sorry to remind you guys, but I just got to keep reminding you.
Excuse me. You were in Group A. Of course, you were going to be the first one.
Well, you know, that's not our fault. That's the way the draw worked. But we was first in the last 16. Well, technically we weren't. But you know, out of the home nations we were. But yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing, waiting for tomorrow. Well, excited and nervous for tomorrow. But yeah. It could be over tomorrow. That's the thing that's upsetting me.
Well, can I just say that if football is coming home to Wales, will it be able to get in and see you, or will you have the hairdresser there?
Oh, God.
No. You didn't think you were going to get away with this, did you? I mean, come on. Every time I've seen Mike, he's had his camera on. Today, he's not got his camera on because he's had a haircut. He doesn't like his hair. Now, I'm not saying that 19-year-olds are vain. I wouldn't be saying that at all. But, you know, I've got a cap on because I don't have any hair. You know, at least you've got hair, Mike. Yeah, Amondi knows. So the challenge is by the end of the show, we've got to get Mike to put his camera on.
Yeah, maybe when the show ends. No, Joe, we might see it, but soon. Yeah.
But having said that, I've got to be honest with you, Amondi. Wouldn't you sort of, if you were a Welsh fan, you wouldn't want to put your camera on, would you?
Well, I would have saved it until after the game. Right this moment, I would be showing all my chest with pride. You know, and bigging myself up. But wait until tomorrow. That's when you should decide whether you hide your face or not.
Do you know what?
That's why I don't want to show my face, because if we lose, everyone will know who I am.
That's a good counter. Good counter there.
Can I be honest with you? Maybe he's sort of sat with a sheep.
Oh
God.
Maybe it's date night in Wales.
What is this?
I tell you what, we'll move on quickly, and we're going to bring Reece in. Good evening, Reece.
Good evening.
Reece is quick to show his face.
Stop it.
So I'm just too busy in the background pissing myself.
This is the first time I've seen a Scots fan happy for 3 weeks.
Well, I knew that was coming.
Hey, go on, it's got to be better than the sheep joke, isn't it?
To be fair, we're not as bad as Turkey. At least we got a point.
Yeah, that is very, very true. That is true. Mike, I forgot. Just go back to Mike for a second, because I forgot to say, Mike, give out a shout for your channels.
Mike Green on YouTube. Yeah, recently got monetized, but that's not the point. But if you do want, no.
Well done.
I like the humility.
Humble Green. But if you do want to check it out, then yeah, feel free to. I don't know why you would, because the content is just crap. But we make it up as we go along. But hopefully you'll be seeing some Sweet Caroline around 7 o'clock tomorrow when we beat Denmark to book our place against the Czech Republic, because they're knocking Holland out. But yeah, if you want to check that out, then please make sure to do so.
And of course, come on, guys, he's had to get his channel monetized, because those sheep don't come cheap, you know.
How'd you cope with this?
It's easy. I mean, I could probably come up with something better than that in like 2 seconds flat.
Reece, give your channels a shout out as well.
Thanks very much. So I'm mostly a Twitch gamer, so it's Reece_Lightning1997 where I do Twitch, but I'm also on a few channels. I just get featured. So I'm on the Weekly Armchair podcast, and I'm also on the Dugout Football channel. But I am now going into hosting. I'm officially going to be hosting 2 shows on the Weekly Armchair podcast. I can announce it myself now, because they announced it the other night. Now I'm officially announcing it. I'll be hosting 2 podcasts, and it's my first one next week. I've not hosted before, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm mostly just a feature, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great.
Brilliant.
Okay,
good luck.
I'm getting hassle already for this being a Man United biased panel.
Well, to be fair, the podcast I'm hosting is all the London clubs, so I've got to be unbiased.
You've got to be yes, yeah. Well, you will be. You will be, won't you? And can I just say, I feel really, really old now, because I've got no idea about this Twitch. It completely loses
I don't
me.
either.
It's basically similar to YouTube, except it's mostly for like gaming streams. But you can use it for the exact same thing, like YouTube podcasts. There's channels that have YouTube podcasts. They stream to Twitch. and their videos get saved and get linked to their YouTube. It's pretty much the exact same, but it's mostly a gaming platform.
I'm none the wiser.
What games do you play?
FIFA, Spider-Man,
Okay.
Call of Duty now and again.
Okay.
I'm mostly into that. So
Do you play Scotland on FIFA, and do you actually win on that?
every time.
Well, good, mate. Good, mate. If you can't win on FIFA, you're doing something
But
wrong.
to be fair,
Right.
FIFA's for fun, but it shouldn't be about your but FIFA should not dictate your football opinion. So a lot of people, unfortunately, do that.
Now, you've all been told off now. Reece has told you. Make sure you do that. Right, guys. Well, I'm going to put you all in the back room, as the actress says to the Archbishop. But we're going to start with Mike, and we're going to go through the groups individually. So, Reece and Amonde, I will see you in a second. Oh, Mike, are you a Twitcher?
Well, no, I'm a Twitch watcher, not a Twitcher, but yeah.
I thought it was something to do with birds. Isn't that following birds? Or I don't know. I'm getting old, I tell you. Right, we're going to start with Group A, and we have it here. You must be very happy.
No, because we didn't win the group. I'm joking. I'll if someone would have said to me at the start of the tournament, you get second, when everyone was bigging up Turkey, and 0 points, unfortunately for them.
Oh, I know.
Not unfortunate. I'm quite happy, but Switzerland, everyone said it would be Italy, Turkey, Wales, Switzerland, and no one gave Switzerland a chance. And ultimately, I think the group ended how it should. I think Switzerland and Wales were both better than Turkey. Wales and Switzerland were the same, and then Italy were better than everyone else. I think that's the way it's gone. That's the way it should have gone. I don't think we were good. I will say we were good, but I just don't think the thing that separates us is we weren't better than Switzerland. We were the same, and unfortunately, we weren't better than. We were quite a while off Italy, to be honest. So that's why we've ended second. And like I said, I agree with it.
Turkey were the big surprise. I know Alan Shearer had them as his dark horses, and I thought, I've got to be honest with you, I had them as second in that group personally, and they literally were disappointment. Probably one of the worst teams in the competition.
Yeah, going into it, you're looking through their team. Obviously, as Leicester fans, you'd know Kaglas, Nuccio, and Chenkis under. But there was more than that. It was Yilmaz up top. It was Kabak, which I don't actually think started. I can't remember, from Liverpool. They had Chelik, the right back, as well. They had Yuxelu in midfield. So going into the tournament, Çalhanoğlu as well. They had a lot of really good players on paper, and not just that as well. The whole team, leading up to the tournament, they were playing for each other and playing as a team. And I thought, do you know what? This praise, this sort of dark horse territory that a lot of people have got Turkey as. I thought maybe they could be a dark horse. I got them to finish third in the group, to be honest. I had it Italy, Wales, Turkey, Switzerland, and I thought they would get third and then go through the tournament that way. But yeah, it's a disappointment. It really was, and for them to get 0 points, worse than Scotland. Come on, that's one terrible thing, isn't it? But sorry to Reece.
You're not drawing me on that one. I've got me Scotland digs in. We're going to leave the poor guy alone now. Wales. Sorry, just to say on Scotland, you got me at it now on Turkey. I think Genghis Under showed probably why Leicester made the right decision in not buying him. He didn't, or making his loan move permanent. It was a big disappointment. But Wales, not a disappointment. You've done it again.
Yeah, I think the thing that's carrying us through the group is the team spirit, or the squad harmony, the squad spirit, the morale. That's what's getting us through these tough games. Because Switzerland was a tough game. We've battled through it. We got a point out of that. Yes. Turkey started off as a tough game, missed a few chances through Ramsey, and then you're starting to think, God, maybe Turkey go down the other end of the pitch and score, and then we have to come back again. But we battled through, and in the end, we made that Turkey game look very, very comfortable when it really wasn't. It was a very hard fought game, and like I said, like you said, we keep doing it.
Yeah, you started off though that Switzerland game. I'm going to be honest with you, it won't last long in the memory, will it?
No, I think that entire game will last long in the memory for both teams. I think Switzerland should have been 2 or 3 or 4-0 up at half time. We were absolutely woeful in that first half. Changed the system up a little bit. You could see the sort of tactics changed a little bit. The formation changed a little bit. And then obviously they scored, and then we had to fight back again to get right back in the game. And then even when they had that offside goal through Mbolo, I think it was, everyone thought, oh no, this is going to be it. We're going to lose 2-1 on the opening game. That Turkey game is a must win. And then in the end, it didn't get given. We got a point, and then ultimately that Turkey game still was a must win. We won it. And I wasn't too annoyed about the Italy game. I mean, part and parcel, isn't it? You know, you're playing Italy's second team basically against our second team. With obviously a few first team.
Happy with Denmark, or you could have said you won it, you'd have got Austria.
I mean, do you know what?
Third, you'd have got France, which I'm sure you're glad you've avoided.
Do you know what? This sounds really stupid, but I actually would have wanted the hardest possible team. And I know that sounds really stupid, but I'm actually glad we've got Denmark rather than Austria. I don't think third was ever going to happen personally. Switzerland would have had to score another 2 goals, I think, or Italy would have, and it was never going to happen. It was always going to be top 2. And I think that just getting Denmark, because when we're the sort of better team on paper, I think we struggle a little bit. And personally, I think we are better than Austria. But I think Denmark, I wouldn't say we're better than Denmark, and I wouldn't say they're better than us. I think it's a tight game. It's a real tight game between us and Denmark, and I think I'm glad we've got them.
Yeah, Rich Sports there saying I think people underrated Wales, and the fact that he's a Wales fan, he was obviously bound to say that. Happy to get out the group, he says. Add it, you just got to be happy to get out the group. Mike, thanks for that. I'm going to take you out now, and I'm going to bring Amondi in, and we're going to have a look at the next group. So don't go away and get that camera working, hair or not.
Oh, the camera's glitchy, but thanks for having me on.
Yeah. A bit like the Wales front line. Right, here you go. I'll take you out.
Yeah, that's woeful, that is. I don't like that.
It was. Amondi.
Yes, Chris. Let's go.
Yeah. I thought Mike was going to talk for England then, but he can certainly talk for Wales. Sorry, Mike. Okay, group. Let's have a look at Group B. And you've got here Belgium. I think top was the not least surprising of any of it. Denmark. We spoke before we started the show, and I think Denmark going through was what everybody, as a neutral wanted. Russia, but I thought Russia would get out of that group. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Russia would get through. Just at the beginning of the tournament, looking at that group, I would have said Russia had a good chance getting in as a second place there easily. Finland, I sort of overlooked them, but they're defensively sound, organised, and that takes you a long way. Does that mean Finland are qualified for the next round? To the knockout stages? Hello? Chris? Come in. You left me. Anyway, let me talk about the group. So Belgium, they look quite impressive. But not to me, I don't see them as favourites for the tournament, even though they've got a great side. I think they're aging a little bit, and I don't like the way they set up. It's just too kind of predictable, reliable, relying on Lukaku all the time to score their goals. Hazard has not been on form. The wing backs, and the centre backs, I don't think they're top draw. You've got probably aging and what's his name? Buata from Celtic, who used to play for Celtic, who used to play for Man City. I don't think he's good enough. So I think I worry about them when they come up against a strong side who's got a good attacking force. So that's why I don't see them going all the way. But they could be a threat. I think they play France, don't they? Is it Belgium, France in the next round? No, it's not Belgium, France. It's Belgium, Portugal, maybe. Am I winging this? Yeah, so I think that would be an entertaining game. But I just don't. Yeah, something about Belgium. I don't think the defence will stand up as we progress throughout the tournament. As for who was second there, Denmark, I think they're playing on emotion at the moment. And I think as soon as they play Wales, that could be a big game. I don't know how far they can go through. I think Wales quite possibly could beat them, just based on they've got a couple of potent players, as in Gareth Bale and Ramsey, who I think trump their potent players. But setup-wise, I think they're set up both. They're organised, Wales and Denmark. And I think hello. Sorry, I've just been waffling on my own.
I am so glad you waffled. I'm so glad. Literally,
I'm not going to recap. you
were saying. It literally everything froze on me. That my lights were flickering. It was like I was like,
it was my show.
I thought Reece had done.
I put you in the background. Anyway, I was just saying Belgium, obviously the best team in the group. I don't see Belgium going all the way. A bit worried about their defence, Boyata and a couple of old guys in there now. Don't think they can handle it going as they progress throughout the tournament. Denmark the same. I think Wales will do well to beat them. A bit more potent with Bell. I think they've got a bit more quality in there. And Finland, I was asking you before you got froze on me, if Finland qualify for the next round, for the knockout stages. What do you think, Chris? Okay,
just those are the blue line next to it that qualify.
Okay, so in that case, it's just Denmark and Belgium.
Just Denmark and Belgium out of this group. Yeah,
I think both these teams could get knocked out in the knockout round, first knockout round. I fancy Wales to take Denmark down. I think Gareth Bale, I think Gareth Bale's really on this, and he is a world-class player on his day. And I think Belgium are playing Portugal. Is that correct?
Belgium are playing Portugal, which should be a good game.
But I fancy Portugal to win that. I do think Portugal, once again, a bit more potent than Belgium. And I think if you're with Lukaku, you know what you're up against. It's going to be the strength, the turn, played into him, played into channels, that kind of thing. And I think top defenders can deal with that. You're not going to see any sugar or any kind of magic, from Belgium in that respect. So I think both these teams will be going out, and it's the end of an era of Belgium. I don't see a next generation of players like we see with England coming through.
Somebody said that. They did say that this was Wales's Belgium's last chance, if you like. But I mean, speaking as a Leicester fan, with the likes of Yuri Tillemans, Timothy Castagna, who unfortunately is out, Pratt. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily write them off for future tournaments.
I just don't see those guys at the same level. This Lukaku, Hazard, De Bruyne. Not yet. Maybe they can still improve, but Tillemans, I like him. He looks decent, but I don't see. I don't get to watch Belgian football, the Belgian league, but there's always young starlets that come out. There's a guy called who went to Lille, left-footed guy I've been watching for years. But I forget his name now. He went to sign from Anderlecht to Lille.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. No.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he represents Belgium or not. He looks African. But he looks good. What's his name? Bota? No, I forget. Anyway, someone in the comments will.
Somebody will remind us. Yeah.
So I don't see. You're right. Though there's quality there, but not like what we've seen with England.
No. Amonde, hey, thanks for holding the fort.
No problem. Anytime. Lean on me when you're not strong.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. We will bring you back in. It's time. We're giving Reece, the Scottish fan, a little bit of a break until we get to a very interesting group, and we're going to give him a chance to comment on that. So thanks, Amanda. We'll see you in a second. We're going to bring Mike back in. Mike, how's Dolly?
How's what?
Dolly.
What do you
Have
mean?
You not heard of Dolly the sheep?
God, yes, I know what I mean. Yeah, I heard of Dolly.
Sorry, mate. Come on. Hey, I can take the piss out of you. You're still in.
Yeah. I'll take the banter as long as we go further than England.
Yeah. No, that's not going to happen, is it? Right, we are looking at young man. we are looking at Group C. Let's just get Group C up here. Netherlands, Austria, Ukraine, North Macedonia. Now, one of the guys on our channel here, Brad, he I don't know if you've seen it, but he was a huge North Macedonia fan. Whatever you do, don't get the lottery tickets off him. That has got to be, I mean, that would have been a dream, wouldn't it, really? Everybody would have loved that to have happened, but it was never going to.
Oh, I'm not going to lie to you. Do you know what? They played really well. Macedonia played really well in all 3 games. And that seems stupid. They had 40% possession against the Dutch, I think, which is like you'd never think that. And, you know, these guys are no mugs. They beat Germany 2-1 in a World Cup qualifier. They've drew with Portugal as well, I think. They're a decent team, and they spearheaded by Goran Pandev, scored a goal in the tournament as well himself. And like I said, against Austria, they played very well. They deserved, I would say, all 3 points in that one. They were unlucky. Ukraine, they played decent and probably deserved the point. And they were just, you know, outclassed by Netherlands. But if everyone going into the group would have said Netherlands top, Macedonia fourth, it was always Austria, Ukraine for second. And to be honest, I think Ukraine deserved second over Austria. When there was a chance that Ukraine wasn't even going to get a place in the third, a place in the last 16 due to a third place, I was quite shocked. I was like, oh my God, you know, they played really well. Yarmolenko has shined in this tournament. Zinchenko has been good as well. And for me, I would say it probably deserved to be Netherlands, Ukraine, Austria, Macedonia. But Austria got, you know, the 6 points that was needed to finish second. So, you know, fair play to them. But all 3 of these teams, I think, deserve a place in the last 16. Yes, Macedonia played well, but the only thing about not playing well, as Scotland know, is you've got to get points on the board. There's no point having chances if you're not going to get the points. Sorry, Reece.
This is like a Wales versus Scotland WWE fight off here. You know,
I swear to God, we better beat Denmark tomorrow. We better.
Oh, you better do, mate. Otherwise, I'm going to have you and Reece back, and I'm just going to let Reece go at you. I tell you, this is Amondi and me as English fans. We're just sat in the middle here, sort of, you know, like a Wimbledon, watching the ball go back and forth. I think the one surprise with that group is obviously Netherlands were always going to get through.
Yeah. I think Netherlands were always going to win the group. Macedonia were always going to come fourth. It doesn't matter how good Macedonia played or how poor the Netherlands were. I think that was always going to be the case, first and fourth. And like I said, Austria and Ukraine done well enough. Obviously, Ukraine done well against the Macedonia, and that's ultimately what took them through. I think if Macedonia would have won that game, goal difference probably would have denied them a place in the knockout round, but it could have been different. But looking at those fixtures, I've already said it, and I know this is bold, but I've got Czech Republic to knock out the Netherlands. I think the Czech Republic have played fantastically well in this tournament, and I've actually got them to knock Netherlands out. I think Italy will push Austria aside, if I'm truthfully honest. I think
Italy are my team of the tournament so far.
Yeah, Italy just looks so good. And in the final game, I've actually got Ukraine to knock out Sweden, and I think Ukraine have played awesome this. And they said awful. Ukraine have played awesome in this tournament with Yarmolenko, like I said, Zinchenko as well, that striker Yaremchuk up top, and but I think all 3 of those teams that have gone through did deserve to go through ultimately.
Brilliant. I'll let you go and get some mint sauce, and we'll get you back in a couple of. I've got to. And we'll bring you back. We'll have a chat about Wales, Denmark in a bit. Thanks very much, Mike. We'll bring you back in a bit. Cheers. Okay, the group that we have all been worried about, or not been worried about, been waiting to talk about, and we can only have one person in here for this. Go welcome, Reece. You've been taking some stick there, and you weren't even on camera. I'm sure you want to give Wales some stick back.
I would give them some stick, but that's too easy.
It is, in fairness, it is really, isn't it? I mean, you know, like I say, you know, he's off checking his cupboards for mint sauce now, and
he'll be way checking it for some dollar sheep. He's going to need the money sheep next time. No credit. To be fair, I was kind of expecting some jabs. Not really.
Yeah, and it's been coming from the Welsh guys, not from the English guys.
It's banter. You take it on the chin. Like that's what you do. But
yeah. Well, all I will say is if anybody's going to have any lamb, please make sure it's New Zealand lamb and not Welsh, because Welsh lamb comes with its own filling.
Wow.
Yes, yeah. Come on, I'm fighting your battles for you here, Reece. Right, Scotland.
To be fair, I like the banter. I take on the chin, but I can dish it as much as I can take it. So at least you're gonna get it out of me.
Right, well, let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. 28 years in the waiting. What happened?
More like 23, but
was it 23? Was it? Sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
98 World Cup, last one. To be fair, there was a lot of things at the tournament. I can only say, like, we were consistent against teams that we played against. Like, we had good chances. We did dominate against teams. We had relatively good moments in the game. The problem is we just didn't finish. And I think that's the most honest comment, is we just didn't finish. But the way we played against some of the games, I thought we were brilliant. I mean, I thought the way we played against England in particular, like, everyone's like, oh, we're celebrating a 0-0 draw. I know a lot of England fans, and they've said that we deserve to win.
Oh no, I will sit here now, and I'm only going to say this the once, so you might want to clip this out and use it. But yes, on the night, Scotland were the better team, but it did look funny that I think it was Martin Compston from Line of Duty, big Scots fan, obviously.
Yeah, big Martin.
I mean, at the end of the day, you were the better team. Yes, you played very well in that game. Yes. Did you score? No. Did you win the game? Problem. No.
Exactly.
And that's and that's it. As good as you are, and we just thought it was a bit funny seeing the Scots celebrating a 0-0 draw. Do you think that game? Because I mean, I've said in past shows that I've done, I actually miss the home nations, because I do miss that. England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales. The local games, if you like, the derbies. Do you think this game means more to the Scots than it does to the English now?
I think to be perfectly honest with you, I think it does. Like, in terms of, like, the game itself, I don't think, if you look at the game itself, I think, like, I've been on, it's the stupid camera on the Chromebook. I really don't know what, it's a temperamental little, to say it nicely, it's a temperamental wee fucker.
Hey, I can't say anything after what happened on my laptop.
It's a pain in the arse. Like, I'm going to try and look over it. I'm going to try and look in it. But in terms of just the game itself, like, if anyone does have issues with flashing, just let me know, and I'll turn my camera off if necessary. I don't mind. But obviously the flashing of the camera, nothing else. The game, in terms of, like, you asked a very good question in terms of, is the game bigger to Scotland now than it is to England? And I personally believe it is. I think the way you look at that game, I was on a show a couple of days before the game, and I was asked my opinion on the game, and I said I think Scotland are going to want it more than England. I think there'll be more in it for Scotland than it will be for England. But there was different types of pressure. I said there was more pressure on England because they were the better team. They had to go out because they hadn't really dominated against Croatia. They had to go out and show why they're at the tournament, like what they made for and all that. But they didn't really convince. They had 2 good chances, but other than that, there was nothing in it to suggest England were actually up for it. Whereas we showed the heart and passion and all that, and we wanted to win as much as we could. Like, we went at England the best we could. So I honestly believe the answer to your question, yes, it is. It's more for Scotland than it is for England. I think it is.
And I mean, looking at the table there, in all honesty, did you expect England to top the group?
Nah, England to be fair, I had England to win that all day long.
Yeah.
As much as I would hate to see it, but it's still, like, the quality in that team.
That's cropped. I'm not going to use that, I'll tell you.
The quality in that team, though, if you didn't finish top of this group, it would be absolutely embarrassing.
I must admit, I had us down for second. I've got to be honest with you. I thought Croatia would top the group. But I thought, certainly from England's point of view, we didn't play well, like we said, against Scotland. The Czech Republic, I think we did what we needed. Croatia, we did what we needed to do. The Czech Republic, I thought, I don't know if you watched that game, but the first 45 minutes, I thought was the best 45 of the tournament for England.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was watching the Scotland game on the TV, but I had the England game on my phone just so I was keeping an eye on it, because any which way you just want the inevitable to happen. But I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, the first 45 minutes, yeah, England were far better, but the second 45, it was slow, it was toothless, there was no energy.
Do you think the news had come through about Scotland's result and both teams realised, well, we don't need to sort of, break our leg for this anymore?
Pretty much, yeah. Yes. Pretty much, fuck it, we're already through.
Yeah, because you kind of... I don't know. I mean, I'd got, like I say, I was watching the England game. I had sort of Scotland on, like you say, on another screen. I was flicking, but I was mainly the England game. But Scotland did seem to kind of just capitulate towards the end.
Yeah, it was quite horrific to watch. I mean, the first 45 minutes, both teams started very well. Croatia took the lead. Scotland should have taken the lead, but they didn't put the ball in the back of the net. But the difference is it was the quality in the Croatia team, and Modric took the game in the second half by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah,
I was expecting Scotland to go and do better at the 45 minutes. Like, they got the goal just before half time. I was like, well, this is great. Now we can go and kick on. But instead, world-class players turn up when they really need to. And Modric, at 35, he's still a world-class player.
I want to hear they'll be wheeling on in his wheelchair in the next World Cup, won't they? If they make it.
He was absolutely superb. I honestly can't fault the man. He was absolutely superb against us. And that outside of the foot finish was, even though it was against us,
he is. Class will always shine through. Yeah. Reece, I managed to get through that without insulting Scotland once. I'm really proud of myself. And we'll have you back in a bit, and we'll be looking at Group F with you. So thanks for that, Reece. And we're going to bring Amondi back in. Thank you for sitting there, being very, very patient, Amondi.
Enjoying it. A lot of good content.
Group E, Sweden, Spain, Slovakia, Poland. Again, top two only going through. Bit of a surprise that I expected Spain to top that group.
Yep, totally agree with you. I wanted Spain. Well, I expected Spain to qualify as group winners, but Sweden, fair play to them. They're always solid, and they've got a little surprise with what's his name, Isaac. He's starting to demonstrate that he's a good player, and they perform really well. I think Spain, though, going forward, have got the potential to go a lot further than Sweden. I like Spain. I know people are saying they're not the same side as they used to be, but I think they've got the same philosophy, and they're going to be hard to beat, especially when you haven't got the ball. The best form of defense is possession, I think, and they are the masters at it still to this day. So regardless of their striking issues with not scoring that many goals, I think they're going to, in this sort of, with the heat of summer now, and I do favour teams like Spain that can contain the ball and have people running up and down, get exhausted, take them into extra time, and probably nick a goal. So they're not going to be the most exciting team to watch because of they haven't got that sort of creative spark anymore. But possession-based, and they're all on the same page with the same football, like a club side, I think Spain will go far. Sweden, I think Sweden is going out next round.
No, I mean Spain. I mean, they had two draws, but by God, 5-0 at the end. Yeah. It was a case of hey guys, we're still here, wasn't it?
Definitely. I think this is what I'm saying. I think teams can raise it, like the emotion. The first game, let's get out there, let's do our stuff. But by the third game, and you can sort of see how things are panning out. You drop your guard for like 5%, and this is the kind of thing that happen with these top quality teams. And over the tournament, it won't lie. It's like the league table over a season. It won't lie. I think we're going to start to see the cream of the crop, all the quality teams who've got the quality players and the good setup as well. We could name and reel them off now. Italy, you've mentioned earlier, and Spain, France, Germany. These are the sides that will always come to the last stages of a tournament. So I'm throwing Spain in there. I think they will be going pretty far, and I think even the top teams, who we call the top teams, will really struggle to beat them.
Yes, yeah. Sweden, do you fancy them?
No, unfortunately not. I just think Sweden, this is what I'm saying, I think the creme de creme will rise to the top. Sweden, you can take your organisation, you can take your defensive system. This ain't Greece 2004. You can take all these factors, and it can take you somewhere. You might be able to squeeze an extra time, maybe get a goal or to beat someone on penalties. But the longer the tournament goes on, I don't favour them. They don't have the squad depth. They don't have the quality, or the organisation can only take you so far. You need a little bit extra. I don't think they have it.
Yeah, and Sweden. Having said that, I can see them getting past the Ukraine.
No,
you can't. You can't.
I think Ukraine have got a bit of punch in them, and I think Ukraine will be. For me, I think Ukraine. I would favour the Ukraine to beat Sweden.
Yes. Okay, and Spain, Croatia. I think that's going to be a tight one, but yeah, I can see Spain getting through on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Monday. Thank you very much. We'll bring you back in a second, and thank you for that one. And I've got to be honest with you, we can actually go over now because we've actually got Mike has actually finally agreed to put his camera on. Which one of those is Mike? I don't know. I'm surprised he's still with us. Let's bring Reece back in. Hello, Reece.
Oh, brilliant! So I've turned the brightness down in the Chromebook. It's actually recommended for the system just reduce the brightness, so it should stop the flashing. So I should.
I just thought you were, getting ready for your presenting debut and the flashing lights.
Win some, you lose some, eh?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking about those sheep. Right.
You've just destroyed the Welsh and sheep for the rest of eternity.
Mike's just said that one did hurt. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm not really. Right, but let's get back. Group. I'll make sure I don't click on that again. Group F here, Reece. What a group! I mean, they said it was the group of death, but my God, that was got to be the best day of football ever on last day.
The group of excitement's what I call it.
Yeah,
by far. It's I'm obviously I'm going to always back my home country, but I've got German relatives, so the team I've always followed, funnily enough, is Germany.
Nothing to do with the fact.
Nothing to do with
the fact. Cut you out there by accident. Nothing to do with the fact that you're playing England, of course.
No, nothing to do with that. It's always been since the World Cup 2002, and then obviously 06 is when I got 02. I was only 5 years old, so I was just getting into international football for the first time. But obviously World Cup 06.
Thanks for making me feel old.
More. Probably, but World Cup in 06 is when it properly kicked on for me, and I just became so. 02 started getting there. 06, that's when I became a fully-fledged fan of the Germans. It's just they're just a team that I've always liked.
I think the only thing we could predict with this is that Hungary were going to be bottom. But I mean, let's be honest, Germany always start tournaments slowly, don't they?
Oh yeah, they always do. There's tournaments where they go flat out at the beginning, and they blow teams away, and they keep that pace going. There's sometimes where they start slow, but people write them off really quickly, expecting them to be eliminated, and then bang, they turn up at the last second and they deliver that killer blow. It's what they're famous for.
Yeah. I mean, I got asked a lot, sort of, as an England fan, would I want France, Germany or Portugal to play? And I actually did say Germany because I think that it might be the easier option for us. But they absolutely blew Portugal away in their second game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched that game.
But then struggled to get a draw with Hungary.
Yeah, what can I say? They only lost one game, and it was, funnily enough, it was against the European champions. But even so, Hungary, just as a defence, they were resolute in the games where, obviously, the likes of France held their nerves just nearly 70 minutes. France had to rely on Route 1 football. Hungary, they held on really well against Portugal until the 80th minute, and then it was just 3 decisive moments, bang, bang, bang. Against the Germans, they were brilliant. I watched that game and I was sitting there going, for God's sake, we're not going out now, are we? But I still had the Germans going through, but I thought Hungary deserved something more out of that game. They were excellent to watch, and I'm kind of gutted they've gone home. To be honest, I think the team that should have went home was Portugal. I don't think Portugal have been good enough this whole tournament.
It would have been nice for, like I say, the as us Leicester fans are sort of the underdog support. It would have been nice to see Hungary go through, but Portugal. Absolutely. We said about Croatia. I mean, Modric basically carries Croatia. We know, doesn't he? Ronaldo, he just carries Portugal.
Yeah, he carries them all day long. It's evidence really that if they can't do anything, get a penalty. He never misses, or you put him through when he's going to be in his most lethal position on the left, cutting in, bang, goal. That's him for you. He's just a phenomenal player.
Yeah. Well, let's bring Amondi. Thank you for that, Reece. Bring Amondi back in, and we'll bring Mike back in.
Come on, Germany. Come on, Germany.
Dollar sheep, have you got my cash?
Come on, Germany.
Oh, God.
Come on, Germany. Please, Germany. Don't let me down.
I must admit, with that haircut, Mike, I can see why you didn't want to come on. we call them haircuts. Of course, in Wales, you call them shearings, don't you?
Jesus Christ.
God, poor Mike.
I love the Welsh, but I really just can't. He's been bantering me. He deserves this.
Well, go on. I mean, in fairness, Mike is dishing it out to Scotland. I'm dishing it out to Wales. Amondi, you got it easy in the corner there.
Guys, try it. Bring it on. I'm ready for you.
To be fair, the tarantula's already left your head, mate. There's no point in trying.
Hey, Reece, don't do me like that, man.
Oh, no, that was brutal.
You're my G, so it doesn't matter.
Right, quickly moving on. So the round of 16, Belgium, Portugal, Italy, Austria, France, Switzerland, Croatia, Spain, Sweden, Ukraine, Netherlands, Czech Republic. We'll come on to the England-Wales games after. Any of you guys, any of those games that sort of stick out for you? I mean, for me, probably, I've got to be honest with you, Belgium, Portugal is the big one for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd actually disagree, to be honest with you. It sounds stupid, but normally when you put two quality teams together, I know sometimes it doesn't happen, but sometimes you see a boring game. Two teams tactically set up against each other. They're good tactically, and it's normally a 0-0 or a 1-0. Like we saw Germany, France, two teams tactically set up very well against each other. That ended 1-0. Germany, Portugal were just woeful, and like Reece said, relying on the best player in the world, and that's where they got some sort of outlet from. But mostly, when you do see two world-class teams, in quote marks, come up against each other, it's very close. So the game I'm actually more intrigued for, I'm not going to say the main one, because the main one is Wales-Denmark, but I'm actually really intrigued to see Sweden-Ukraine. I think two teams that have proven themselves when a lot of people have put them down. Everyone said Ukraine wouldn't top the group. Obviously, they didn't, but they played well in all three games. And Sweden, actually, everyone put them third. They said Spain, Poland, Sweden, Slovakia. And actually, Spain, the Spain game was boring, but they done what they had to do defensively. They were sound. They did have a couple of chances in that Spain game with Isaac and Berg. And then, obviously, they beat Slovakia with a penalty, but they still got the job done. And then, obviously, that brilliant game against Poland at the end, and I'm actually really intrigued to see Sweden-Ukraine. I've got Ukraine to get through like a Monday. I just don't think that Sweden have that cutting edge where I think Ukraine do, with the likes of Yarmolenko, Yaremchuk. I've been really intrigued with as well. Malinovsky, who plays for Atalanta as well. I think they have some really good players. Ukraine. I think they could actually beat. Well, I'm not going to say it because I want Germany to get through. But I'd say that if England did get past Germany, I could actually see Ukraine causing an upset in that one. But yeah, that's the game that I'm looking forward to. Sweden, Ukraine. I think it's me. Everyone's going to say Belgium, Portugal, France, Germany. But for me, it is Sweden, Ukraine.
Mike, I've got to ask you. I mean, there's obviously not much to do in Wales. Your knowledge of footballers from these European teams is absolutely spot on, mate. Well done. I could never come out and quote teams like that. That is impressive.
Oh, cheers. I'm used to it.
Mind you, having said that, I suppose the top-rated TV show in Wales is One Man and His Dog, isn't it? But
to be fair, you can put me against Mike and you'll have an interesting battle.
Reece, what apart from those, say the England-Wales, take those out of the equation for now. Which game are you looking forward to most?
Obviously, you've got the obvious heavyweight clashes: Portugal, Belgium. England, Germany. For me, I'm going to go completely left field. For me, the game I'm looking forward to most is Croatia versus Spain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm looking forward to it because I'm hoping this is the end of the Spanish. But I've got the funny thing is,
let it go. We beat them with the Armada. Just let it go.
I've got Spain. I've got, like, in terms of the actual predictions for the whole tournament, I've only got 2 of these last 16 ties to go to penalties. This is one of them. I think Spain are going to go through in penalties, but I genuinely cannot stand the Spanish team. I've got no respect for the Spanish team.
Why?
This is not the Spain of old. Like the conversation we had a week ago, I said like they've completely abandoned their what brought them to the game. They've abandoned the passing and the dominance of play, and instead they've replaced it with aggression and intensity. And up until the Slovakia game, it wasn't doing them any favours in the tournament. Coincidentally, they win 5-0. Yeah, but this doesn't scream like a good Spain team to me. Like, I'm not convinced by them at all. I think if you put them against a proper opposition, they'll get battered. Yes, they beat Germany 6-0 not too long ago. If they played them in the Euros now, that would not happen. That result wouldn't happen. I can say that for a fact. I think you put them up. I think the winner of this game, they play. Was it France? Is it France or France? Which I think is going to be inevitable anyway. It's going to be France. But I think another game, to be honest, I'm looking forward to is Italy versus Austria. Obviously, you've got the best team in the tournament so far has been Italy consistently. They've been the best team. Austria, but lucky to get there.
Agreed.
We'll see how they favour. I think Italy are going to win this comfortably, but the reason I said I'm looking forward to this game is because Italy, to a degree, haven't been tested yet, and there's far better players in this Austria team than there was in the Wales team. Turkey,
come on,
no,
there is, mate. Overall, there is. Like, you've only got one good player, and his name's Gareth Bale.
That was our backup team again in that final game against Italy, though. To be true,
if you played their full strength team, backups wouldn't matter.
And we'll just go and sit on the sidelines for 5 minutes, I think.
I don't see. Like, I think Wales are going to win their game anyway against Denmark, even though I've not put them to go through.
You agree though with Reece for the game that you're most looking forward to?
Yeah, 100%. Apart from the result and the disrespect to Spain, I think what you just said about Spain, I was talking earlier about possession and containing the ball, that kind of thing, and I think that's going to take them far. Doesn't matter who they play, they're going to be very difficult to beat and break down. They're not going to take licks from anybody. I don't see that happening. They're set up really well. We might not be seeing, like I keep saying, we might not be seeing the Iniestas, the Xavis, the great players of the past, but I still think the fundamental foundation is still there on how they play and how they manage their games. So, yeah, maybe it could go to extra time. They could win on penalties, but the few factors are technically they're all good. Most of them play in the same league. They have the same philosophy. Even though we don't have Real Madrid and Barcelona players, they've grown up on this. They've grown up. They've witnessed how the team play. So they've got a bit more pride. They need to represent. This ain't the Spain of old where they weren't winning anything for years. They know they know there's a philosophy and a way to win now. And I think it's better for them now being underdogs because there's players that are less known to people, and we think we write them off. But I think they're going to deliver in this tournament. I think they're going to go really far, just based on having the talent, the skill, the technique, and the managed games and having possession football, wearing teams out in this hot sunshine. And I think that's going to take them far. And I expect them to beat France or one of these other teams in the next round. It could be shocking because there's not much, when we look at it, there's not much between these top teams, as we saw with Germany, France, as we're going to see with against Croatia as well. Not much between them, but this is where the fundamentals come into it. And that's why I really rate Spain.
If they turn up if they turn up in the last 16, then so be it. But at the moment, just like France, where I've been consistent with my views on them, France haven't convinced me at all yet in the group stage. Spain yet to convince me, but could they turn up in the last 16? Probably.
It's like for me, it's like the rounds of the 100 meters in the Olympics. It's like you're not going to give your best form just yet in the first rounds. You want to save for the later rounds, when the semi and the final, and then deliver. And this is where I expect, like you said earlier, you just reminded me, Reece. They whooped Germany 6-0, 5-0, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it's possible. It's possible.
Well, no disrespect to Reece and Amon, but we do know that there are only 2 games that are going to be worth talking about this weekend. And Mike, we've got yourselves against Denmark, and you've got England, Germany. Now, Wales, Denmark, first of all, they've played each other 10 times. Wales have actually won 4. Denmark have won 6. So there's no draws. But Wales's last win was 2008. Denmark have won the last 2. And like I said earlier, we've got the battle of the keepers. We've got Schmeichel versus Danny Ward. You're looking forward to this, I think, aren't you, Mike?
Definitely. I said it earlier. I talked about the keepers quickly before I get into the game. Danny Ward does play in first-team football. Whether that's Premier League, high-end Championship, whatever it is, he deserves to be playing week in, week out. And I think Reece and Amondi and yourself, Chris, and everyone have seen how good he really is in this tournament. The saves he's been producing, the double saves as well, making good blocks and then getting straight back up again with his agility and athleticism. He's a quality keeper. And I think the fact that on paper our best keeper is on the bench in Wayne Hennessy, and the man that got us to the semi-finals 5 years ago, the fact that Ward has basically pushed him aside to become Wales's number 1 is a positive sign, and I think he really is a good keeper. This game is going to be so tight. I'm not going to say Denmark. Go on.
I must admit, just say there, Mike, I am really worried. I mean, Danny Ward, he's 12 million for us from Liverpool, and I was surprised we played so much for a keeper that was going to be a reserve keeper. Now, in the past, Leicester have had a history. I mean, we sold Gordon Banks, who was the then England keeper, for a upcoming Peter Shilton. We sold Peter Shilton because we had a young guy, Mark Wallington, come through. So, I asked the question earlier, would we see Schmeichel move on because Ward was coming through? I don't think we will, because I think Schmeichel is almost turning into like Mr. Leicester. But I know we're in 4 competitions next season. We've got the league, we've got the Europa, we've got the FA and the Carabao. But Ward this season didn't even play in the FA. That was Schmeichel all the way through. And I am worried, Mike, that we are going to lose him, because if he does do a world-class performance and you get to the final ever, he's going to want to move on.
Well, yeah, that's basically what you just said. He's not going to, even though, Leicester, like you said, have had a history of what you've mentioned of an understudy coming up, sell the older guy, an understudy coming up, sell the older guy. I think this can't happen to these 2 goalkeepers. It's the same situation with Man United, but I won't get into it, where you've got an absolute legend of the club in Kasper Schmeichel, who has been there, like you said, is turning into Mr. Leicester. He's been in the Champions League with you, he's won the FA Cup, won the Premier League with you. But you've got a Danny Ward who's also, he hasn't won that stuff because he's not been given a chance, and he deserves to be given a chance because of the ability. And like you said, even if we get knocked out to Denmark, which could possibly happen, I'm not going to sit here and say Denmark is a guaranteed win for us, because they're a very good team. And I know Chris is smirking at that because he desperately wants Kasper Schmeichel and Denmark to get into the quarterfinals. But yeah, I mean, whatever the outcome tomorrow, I think Danny Ward will still want to go. I know you're mentioning if we got like a semi-final or final, even if we get knocked out tomorrow, or even if we've not got out of the groups, I think a lot of teams would be thinking, he's not the best Wales side, and he's, producing some fantastic saves. He's keeping them in games. We could snatch this keeper up. They only got him for 12 million. We could get him for 10, 15. And I think it would be a bargain.
And I can't see. Yeah, I can see him possibly being sold. I must admit, I can't see him being sold for less than we paid for him. Because if he's that good, as we've said, I think we're going to be, demanding more. Now, Mike, you're obviously going for Wales in this, and I'm sorry, but I mean, I've got to go for Denmark, because I'm always going to go against the other home nations, and I really want Wales to lose. But obviously, Denmark, we got the Kasper link as well, and that's slightly stronger than the Ward link, I'm afraid. So come on, Denmark. Reece, Wales or Denmark, and then we'll come on to Amondi, and then we'll go on to the really big game.
I'm going Denmark to beat Wales.
Yes. And Amondi?
I'm going Gareth Bale because he's a world-class talent. I think Wales are going to qualify.
Wales Golf Madrid. Wales Golf Madrid. Wales Golf Madrid. Get in there, Monday. What a man.
I just heard what you said. That's funny.
I'm not saying that we're going to be putting in a bid for Gareth Bale for Leicester, but our new training ground has got our new training ground has got a 9-hole golf course attached to it. So
he's going there. He's going out.
You've got Jose Perez as a right winger. You could do with some right wing quality.
Yes, you're quite right there. Do you have to? I mean, I know I've hardly insulted you, Reece, and then you've got to bring Perez up. I'm sorry, that's just no. That's not. No, you can insult England, but don't bring Perez into the conversation.
Fucking go, lads.
Quickly moving on. England, hey, it's Germany yet again. It's for England, this is bigger than playing Scotland. I'm sorry, Reece, but it just is. It's the fact of the matter. We've played each other 32 times. We've won 13. They've won 15 and we've drawn 4, so it's quite close. But of course, the last time we played them was in a competitive match. We try not to forget that. It was 4-1. But I mean, let's face it, it should have at least been 4-2. But hey, it is what it is. Now, Monday, come to you first. Where can you see that game going?
I think it's. I
don't really want to ask Reece or Mark.
I think Germany overall. I think Germany overall got more quality all round as a team. I think Germany going to qualify. I think England, judging, but they need. This is where you need to have a good manager and a good setup here, because I haven't seen any sort of patterns of play or anything throughout the tournament. Whereas with Germany, I've seen ways they can dominate teams. Even France, they dominate Portugal, and when it was necessary, they showed character to come back against Hungary. I just see these factors are just too much for England to handle. I think England should play 5 at the back. I know it might be a bit negative, but I think they should go man to man, because otherwise they can get very exposed by the way Germany can camp in your box and stretch the pitch and have those 2 wing backs, causing mayhem. And I don't know how they're going to manage it. Who's going to get across to manage to deal with that if you're playing the 4-2-3-1? I don't know. I really don't know. So I think Gareth Southgate or whoever's in charge needs to have a tactical nous to really get through this game. And I don't think they do have that. Germany are going to go through, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Monday, I thought I liked you.
I always have. Get in a Monday.
And I'm just looking at the private chat here, Mike and Reece, and I know I don't like you. I fucking hate you. Reece, it isn't going to be 9-0.
I'm saying it to wind you up, but I think it's going to be 2-0 Germany.
Well, yeah, I mean, you and Mike, you want, and I know you were sort of claiming, I'm sure, German heritage earlier, Reece,
I'm claiming. I've actually got a few from Germany. I've got a few from Italy, but I don't particularly support the Italians.
But both of you guys would want Germany to win. Is there any way, being all serious now, that you can see England winning this?
It is sacked.
I honestly don't see it, and the reason I don't see it is because Amundi nailed it on the head. And Amundi's heard me talk about Belgium a few times. England are a team stacked with quality, but they're not a team. They don't dominate as a team, whereas the Germans, they do. They play as a team. And I think that's England's downfall. Until England have a team mentality and they can impose themselves, I don't see them winning these sorts of games. Like they need that to do it. And until then, I don't see it, to be honest. So I would see Germany win. England are going to have to be brilliant on the counter-attack, though, if they want to get something. That's all I'm saying. Mark,
we're not going to go to penalties, are we? Don't tell me that.
Oh no, they'll beat you in 90 minutes. Yeah. It's not going to penalties.
If it does go to penalties, though.
Hey, if it goes to penalties, it's anybody's game, isn't it?
Not for England.
Can I just say, if it goes to penalties, if it does go to penalties, thank God we haven't got a Man United keeper playing for us.
Don't you think it's ironic, though? Like, Southgate was the one who was wobbly in 96, and now he might have to be in the same situation. Penalties against Germany on the big stage, and he might have to make a key decision, and I think he's going to be flaky and wobbly again. I just don't have faith in him as a manager. Terry Venables, Glenn Hoddle, I'd be talking more highly about England, but nah, not with Southgate.
But this is the guy, and I wasn't going to bring this up, but seeing as you have, and I'm conscious of the time for you here, Amondi. I know you got another show lined up, but this is the manager that got us into the semi-finals of the last World Cup.
Oh. Who did you beat? Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on.
Let me say this. Had Man United,
20 seconds.
Man United nearly won the Europa League, right?
You brought this analogy,
and that was because they weren't good enough to win the Champions League, and they got knocked out of the Champions League. Had Man United won it, because it was only they were only playing these Europa League teams, would that have diminished what they had done by winning it? You can only play who's against you.
I refuse to answer that question. We're talking international football now. You just said Gareth Southgate. You just said Gareth Southgate got to the semi-finals of the World Cup. Based on what? Look at the group. Who did they beat? Everyone talking about Harry Kane being the star player. He had a deflected goal. He had 2 tap-ins. He had about 3 penalties. I mean, and everyone calls him world class. And England beating to go into the semi-finals. As soon as they come up against someone who's elite or half decent, they lose. I mean,
you pussied out of winning the group to avoid playing the likes of France. You pussied out. You pussied out.
They're like, right, let's lose it so we can have Sweden, Colombia, and bloody Croatia.
And then you got beat. You got beat by Croatia. Extra time in both games.
Panama.
I mean, who would have thought Croatia would have? Who would have thought Croatia could beat anybody?
Croatian people, probably, but.
Yeah, I mean, Scottish people. Do Scottish people think Croatia can beat anybody?
Do a show on Red Star Belgrade in the early 90s, Yugoslavia, Dragan Stojkovic, all that things broken up. Do a show on that one time. Look at their basketball team. So much talent out there. Yugoslavia, I love them.
I think there's just the problem with England is there's a mentality problem as well. It's like the biggest thing with England, mentality. And I know you're going to laugh it off, obviously, because you're a Leicester fan. You're used to some...
No, I'm just laughing at what Mike's put in the private chat, to be honest with you.
But you look at it, and there is the thing with England, there is a mentality problem. When they get to the latter stages of the tournaments, they always fade. But when they go into a tournament, they're always like one of the best qualifying teams. They're always in there, like maximum points, or they'll drop 2 points, so they're 20 or 30.
San Marino,
they're always there. They're always there, perfect. But when they get to the main tournament, heads drop. Yeah. So I'm like,
I tend not to follow England during the qualifiers, because if England can't get out of the qualifying groups as they are set up now, then there's something wrong. I mean, like you say, you got the San Marinos, you got the Andorras. The groups are designed by UEFA for the big clubs to get through. Sorry, Amondi. Yeah,
Chris, I want you, please, because I would love to go along with it. Convince me and the panel here how England can win, because you put that to us.
No, I don't think England will win it. If I was a betting man, I would put a 10 quid on Italy. They're my team at the moment.
The game against Germany.
Against Germany. Again, do I think we'll win it? I don't know. My head says, if I'm honest, my head probably says no, but my heart says yes, because I'm an England fan.
And my heart says it's shitting out England as we speak. Shitting out the results as we speak.
Let's not be honest. We went to Berlin and beat them 5-1.
And what happened at the following World Cup? Well, they got to the final. Where did you go?
No, we're just talking about this game. As a Mondi who does not like to look at other alternatives, I'm not looking at the fact that Germany won that World Cup. The fact of the matter is, on that one game, we beat them 5-1. Look, it's the knockout games. Anybody can beat anybody in the knockouts. We've had a couple of surprises already in the groups. It is down. It's like the FA Cup. Would you have said? And I wouldn't have put money on Leicester beating Man United in the quarter-final of the FA Cup.
Let's not
we did
that game. Thank you very much.
No, exactly. But we did. And the fact that when you win something, you win something by only playing the teams that you were drawn against. When it's a knockout, it's a competition like this. When it's a trophy, we didn't choose to play Belgium. Belgium, I thought were going to go on and win it that World Cup, but they didn't. But you can only play who's in the group, or who you're drawn against. It doesn't diminish the fact that you've won it. Like I say, otherwise you'd say, well, Man United, they were shit to get into it was only the Europa League. A couple of seasons ago, that's all you won.
Chris,
and you didn't, diminish it then.
Chris, what I'd like to hear is, like, tactically, how do you see this England team? We've seen 3 games now. We've seen the qualifications. How do you see them penetrating Germany or beating Germany? We've seen both teams now.
You take Kane off for a start.
Oh, good. All right, we're on the same.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not a fan, and I've got to be honest with you. Normally, I'd say Sterling can go off with him, but he's gone and scored 2 goals for us. But I want to see some of the other players starting. I want to see Calvert-Lewin up front. I want to see players that are hungry. Kane is not fit. Kane is not. He's not on form at the moment. And when a player's not on form, then why is he being picked? I mean, at least he's not doing what Roy Hodgson did and he's put him on corners. He's not gone down that route yet. But
he just might go in the last 16.
Yeah, and I agree with you. He won the Golden Boot at the World Cup, and it was 3 penalties against Panama in there. But we didn't choose to play Panama. They were in our group. But no, the game tomorrow, drop Kane, possibly drop Sterling. Grealish has got to start. Phillips has got to start. Luke Shaw's got to start.
Bellingham.
Sorry?
Bellingham, probably your best midfielder.
I want to see Sancho start. He's taken Sancho along and he's hardly played him. What's the point?
Because Southgate's a cunt. It's because he's
children watching. We like to say ladies' private parts on this channel.
Because he's going to play for Man United. That's why Southgate's not playing Sancho.
And talking of ladies' private parts, you still there, Mike?
Yeah. God, see.
She's gone quiet, so I wasn't sure. Can I just say,
Mike, Mike, you're being violated here. You got any responses?
Well, we're going to be the only British team left in the tournament, so I don't have to speak. Our players will do the talking on the pitch.
A serious question now, though, for you, Mike, and you've been sat there very quietly listening to talk about the most important game. Wales have done really well in this tournament. Not getting into whether Ryan Giggs is guilty, not guilty. That's aside. But whatever happens, and let's say he's found not guilty, does he get his job back, or does the manager and I've forgotten his name now, but the manager that you've got at the moment, is he sort of given the chance to go forward?
Personally, I think none of them deserve the chance to go forward, and I know that is rich. Whatever Rob Page does do, this Euros was always taken as a tournament that we're sort of saying, all right, we'll take not getting embarrassed. No one expected, even in the Welsh fan base, a lot of even in the Welsh fan base, a lot of people were saying, if this does go terribly wrong, we can see it as a sort of write-off. Okay, look, it didn't go as planned. We'll rebuild. We'll get a better manager in, and we'll go again. And to be honest, Reece said in the live chat, I want Coleman back. To be honest, I wouldn't 100% say no to that, because I know his football was kind of boring to a stage, but look, it got us into a semi-final where England were embarrassed by a shot. So we won't get into it. That was a great tournament. That was. I haven't stopped going to Iceland after that. I really enjoyed that tournament. Yes, the football, like I said, was getting boring some parts during that, but I thought I would take him back if he's going to get us to a European semi-final, because that season or that year in the Euros, we were the 4th best European team. Technically, he done really well in that tournament to get us through games, and I can see that through Rob Page. His mentality is basically, we're not good enough to go toe to toe with these teams, but we're also not crap enough to lie down and take defeat. We will fight, we will grind for it, and whatever will be basically is the sort of motto. And I think he's done that during this tournament. The Switzerland game, like I said, we were in the crap for a lot of it, and tails against the wall, whatever they're saying, his back's against the wall. in that game, and I thought there's no way we can get anything out of this game. We're losing this 100%. And Kiefer Moore got the goal, dragged us out of it. And then that Turkey game, they were piling on the pressure, and we got the goal after missing a few chances through Ramsey. He finally got a goal then, and then we eventually won the game 2-0. And in the Italy game, even though they were the better team by a country mile, we only lost 1-0, where they beat the other two teams in the group 3-0, and that was our reserve team. I know it was their reserve team, but even their reserve team is a mile better than ours as well. So the fact that we've grinded our way in situations where, yes, on paper we were not. And don't forget, by the way, we're promoted into the Nations League Group A as well. Should we worry that Mike keeps going on about grinding? Backs against the wall, fronts against the sheep. Mike? Oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. Can I just say?
I need a moment.
Melina's just said then 3 United fans on this panel. Well, that's only because I can actually say that I've got 3 fans on the channel that haven't won anything this year. But Leicester, the FA Cup, yeah, we won the FA Cup. So I think that's
an Arsenal fan then, surely.
Arsenal fan. I can't find anybody that even Mel that admits to being an Arsenal fan anymore.
I was just going to say you'll be lucky to find one.
What is an Arsenal fan these days? Are they not secretly Chelsea fans now?
I tell you can tell the fans of the top 9 clubs in the Premier League because they've all got neck braces on from looking down the league trying to find Arsenal. Guys, look, I'm conscious. Monday's got another show to do in just over 10 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up. Guys, thanks so much for coming on. And Monday, I'll come to you first because give you a chance to publish and give a shout out for your channels again.
Yeah, so my name is Amonde Juma16. You can find me on Twitter. You can also find me on TikTok. On Facebook, it's Yabba Forbes, YABBA FORBES. And on Instagram, it's Zacchaeus Forbes, ZACHIUS FORBES. And I'm really, really happy to come on your show, Chris. Thanks for the invitation. I've been smiling. My cheeks are hurting from laughter. There's been so much. And I love the panel. I mean, Reece, maximum respect, and Mike, knowledge, proper on it. Love you guys.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Amonde. Take care. We'll team up again soon. Take care, mate. All the best. Good luck with the show later.
Thanks.
Reece, what can I say? Well, I'll tell you what, let's go to Mike first because it'd be a shame not to. Mike, are we going to see your haircut or are we going to have to bring the sheep in again? Yes, there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh no, we won't. Just ask me questions. I don't want to talk about it. Oh my God!
No. Let's talk about your hair. I think
Jack Grealish. Look, Jack Grealish. Oh God, what is this?
I don't see that.
Well, he's gonna have more action than Jack Grealish in the Euros, but
oops.
Oh, what's happening here? It's
sorry, mate. I took you out by accident. a bit like a sheep on a date in Wales.
Oh God,
Mike. Mike, give your channels a shout out, mate.
Yeah, so it's Mike Green on YouTube. Recently at just over 1,000 subscribers. If you do want to check the channel out, it's quite of a mess. We sort of go as we go basically on the channel. But yeah, if you do want to check it out, it's Mike Green. And much appreciated if you do check it out. And yeah, they by the looks of it, that's our national anthem here in Wales. By the looks of it. But yeah, thanks for getting me on.
Hey, no, Mark. Oh, I've done it again. Hang on, done it again. Oh. Thanks. It was the sheep. I can't stop laughing at the sheep. Mike, thanks for coming on and thanks for taking it on the chin. But I do think you gave as good as you got today. Oh, yeah. But thanks a lot, mate. I'd say all the best for tomorrow, but I won't mean it.
Come on, Jim.
If you do, if you're doing a watch along and you're losing, I might just pop on.
I'll be ending it if we go 1-0 down.
Take care, mate. Thanks for coming on. All the best.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Reece.
See you later, man.
Reece, Man, hey, you got off lightly tonight. I've hardly insulted Scotland.
Bring it, honestly. Bring it. I can dish it as well as I can take it, honestly.
You can indeed. And it is banter, mate, and it's good. It's good to have a bit of banter, and it's good to have a laugh and a joke, even though you want Germany, But I was going to say to you, we'll have a chat next time we're in the tournament together, but I'm going to be like 85 by then, so I think I'll be...
Anyway, we'll see you in Qatar.
Yeah, no, 23. You'll be a bit like Liverpool. Every 30 odd years, you'll qualify for something.
Oh, you Johnny bastard! We'll be. I think we'll be in Qatar, and then after that, we'll see where it goes from there.
I would say good luck, mate, but I really wouldn't mean it. But give you Twitch and your details a quick shout out again.
My pleasure. So it's Twitch, Reece_Lightning 1997. Just casual gaming, streaming around. And then you can find me on YouTube on the Weekly Armchair Podcast. You can also find me on the Dugout Football channel as well. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, Chris. Thanks for having me on this evening.
No, thank you. And when do you do? Because you're starting to do presenting now, don't you? When do you go live with your first show?
Yeah, my first show is I think it's next Friday. It's next Thursday, next Friday. I need to speak to Keane just to get the. Funnily enough, I'm speaking to Keane after the show tonight.
Right.
So we'll be ironing out when my first show is, but I know it's next week. I'm slightly nervous, but I'm also looking forward to it at the same time. So it should be a good laugh.
I would be nervous. I think you might have Mike and me coming on to to comment when you're doing it.
Yeah. So I'm the Man United fan that's going to be discussing all the London clubs. So that's going to be interesting.
Boring.
I'm going to be giving a fair view on that. One of my shows, I'm going to try and get a fan that represents all the London clubs on, and I'm going to sit down and just have a general conversation before the season starts.
Well, I was going to say, if you want good London clubs, so you're looking at sort of Chelsea, West Ham, Leyton Orient. And I'm struggling after that.
I will get an Arsenal fan on there because I do believe they need to have some form of venting. But you never know. There might be some fans who think it could be a good season. Who knows? But I will have a fan of every London club on. I still need to iron out the cracks. I still need to understand what I'm doing in terms of hosting. But you know what? Not everyone's comfortable doing it the first time. It might take me a few goes before I'm fully comfortable.
I'm sure you will be fine, mate. If you go onto my channel and go way back, my first ever show was with Brad, and we reviewed a Leicester Birmingham friendly, and it was goddamn awful. I'll tell you.
Bad,
yeah, a lot of people would say this still is, so I suppose there's no difference there. But
I remember my very first show. I done a pre-recorded show for a Man United channel, and I was literally saying but I'm like, I shouldn't be, because I love football and I love United, so it shouldn't be much of a problem. But it's just like, it's first time in front of a camera, like it's different feel, and I was like nervous. But after I grew into it, I was like, you know what, I feel comfortable.
We all have those little nuances that we can't get rid of. But Reece, hey, thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for taking and giving the banter, mate. You're a gentleman, sir.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
I'm sure we'll speak again when Leicester play Man United in the or even when we're doing a preview of England in the Euro final. Might have you on then as well.
You ain't getting to the final.
Cheers, mate. All the best.
And likewise.
Take care. Thanks to everybody that came on today. The links to all their groups are in the description. That's Reece, that's Amondi, and even Mike, the Welsh shearing fan. His link is in there as well. What it takes you through to, I'm not 100% sure. But thanks to all the guys. Denmark tomorrow? Come on, Denmark. Do we want them to beat Wales or do we want Wales? I'm still going for Denmark. I'm sorry. And I know I'm a bit torn because I do like Danny Ward. He's a good goalkeeper. He is playing well for them. But I just can't see past the Danes, And anyway, I'm sure the Wales will have a few fans there cheering them on when they score. Thanks very much. Hey, so what's going to be happening? Well, let me tell you, because I know you're dying to know, aren't you? maybe. But what's coming up? Well, tomorrow morning, lunchtime tomorrow, 12:30, we are going to be doing the Euro knockout prediction group. Yeah, we didn't do so very well last time. Me, Brad and Scott, we got 10 out of a possible 49. Needs to do better. That's what they say. Need to do better. So we're going to have another go. And believe it or not, I've got a Man United fan on. They're everywhere. And then on Tuesday, we're going to get... Monday, we're going to be talking... Monday the 28th, we're going to be talking the 5 best ever Leicester City signings. Give me 5. Who's it going to be? Monday, 7 o'clock, we'll find out. Tuesday, 7:15, it's the post-match show. Last of a few... well, yeah, Rich, you can dream. You can dream. It could be Denmark and, Wales... That's what you scream as at that point in the sheep, is it? Wales! Yeah. Let's not go there. And big up, Chris. See you again soon. Thanks a lot, Reece. Really good to see more Man United fans on the channel. Like I say, I had to pick 3 teams that hadn't won anything last year, and it was all Man United. What can I do? Hey, look, listen out to us on the podcast, if you will. Give us 10 minutes, and all our shows are uploaded onto the podcasts, and that is Google, Apple iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Music. It's all under Leicester Till I Die, and you can listen to us if you'd rather not. If you don't want to see Reece's haircut, not Reece's haircut, Mike's haircut, listen to us on the podcast instead. We'll see you tomorrow at 12:30. Me, Scott, and Matt. I'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks to all the guests, Mike, Reece, and Amondi again. It's great to have them on, and we will see you all tomorrow at 12:30. Good night. Have a good one.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.
To an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.